We told you it would happen. We warned you. We said that when a government that is responsible for taking care of all of its citizens continuously chooses to harm the most marginalized under some made-up excuse of streamlining processes, that things like this would happen. We warned you that when a government is impacting the lives of people and can't even be bothered to put their first and last name in their template letter, that it is a continuation of devaluing people who are part of our community, who are our neighbors, our friends, our family, that things would happen. When you have people that have been part of a program for decades, who have consistently met the threshold to be part of that program, not because they want to, but because they have to, and the government decides to rip all predictability that an individual has, sometimes the only thing that they can consistently count on, because what they may be dealing with, for them, is continually inconsistent. We're not talking about people just having a bad day, but people who live their lives dealing with whatever medical issue they're dealing with and riding that roller coaster of unpredictability. We warned you that there is no one-size-fits-all, but you didn't listen. You didn't care. You just kept putting out rhetoric that Alberta provides the highest level of support for persons with disabilities, and for some reason, they should be thankful. You didn't listen when we said that the federal supplement was not only a means of a little bit of financial support for persons with disabilities, but a means of providing a little bit more dignity. You didn't listen, and you took that away from them. And here we are. I'm not even going to give a trigger warning for this, because people need to hear it. That a member of the disability community died by suicide because of the actions of this provincial government. I don't want to hear, oh, but Lisa, he likely had other things going on. You're abso-fucking-lutely right, he did. And that is why Bruce Johnson had been on AISH for 30 years, until he got a letter from this government telling him that he was moving from AISH to ADAP. No choice, no rationale, no predictability. And the pressure, the uncertainty, the worry, the fear of no longer being able to support yourself with a tiny bit of dignity because of the decisions, which are random yet targeted, of this provincial government, were too much for him to deal with. We warned you that this would happen. He left a letter that details the reasons why, when after 30 years of the only thing he could count on was being stripped from him, that it was just too much. The uncertainty of the future, because of the actions of this government, were too much. And so we've lost somebody. I want you to remember this face, and I want you to remember his name. I want you to remember the words of the person who signed off on this. That we want to make sure that those who are severely handicapped have the highest level of support. Where was his support? This government has failed. And so whether it was Jason Nixon before and Nathan Neudorf now, who are continuing, despite the warnings, to push forward in putting persons with disabilities at risk, you can keep your thoughts and prayers, because you couldn't even take the time out of your day to have an on-camera interview or to address that at the end of the day, you, Nixon, Danny, are 100% to blame for the loss of this individual. I'm not going to give some platitude. I will put this here from the article, that if you are having some concerns, there are resources. There are people you can reach out to. There's disability advocacy groups, your MLAs, your friends, your family, your people on social media. But I know that you know that. And I know that by the time someone gets to the decision that Bruce Johnson made, you've tried all that. You've tried. But please know that there are people who are going to continue to advocate for you, that are going to continue to fight against this government. And please hang on. I know that many of you don't feel like you have a voice, but the one time with certainty that your voice can be heard is when it comes time to vote. Because things like losing $200 a month may not mean much to me or to that, but we know it's not just about the $200. It's about throwing the lives of people who are already dealing with so much besides their medical issue. Housing, food insecurity, now having to go find a job somehow and somewhere. I know that that is impactful. People that care know that that is impactful. And so just hold on. We warned you, but you didn't give a fuck.